Did you know the Moravian Church in Barbados? Did you know that the Moravian Church had its origins in 15th century Moravia in Bohemia, which is now part of Czechoslovakia? Did you know it was one of the oldest Protestant denominations, known as the Unitas Fratrum, or the Unity of the Brethren? Jan Hus founded the movement in the late 14th century. They rebelled against Rome 50 years before the famous Martin Luther. Hus adopted the principle of justification by grace through faith alone, not just by good works. He was declared a heretic, and he was burned at the stake on July the 6th of 1415. The Moravian Church enjoyed a revival in the 18th century, and they began a humanitarian missionary outreach. By 1732, their first missionaries in the Caribbean arrived in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, then a Danish colony. They spread out and came to Barbados in 1765. They were the only church which came to the Caribbean with the express purpose of Christianizing the enslaved population. But hardships, fevers, and early deaths dogged their efforts. The first two missionaries died of fever within weeks of arrival. Brother Brookshaw arrived in 1767, and he was befriended by a Quaker planter in St. Thomas called Jackman. He preached to the slaves on Jackman's estate, and he was offered 2 acres and an old house at Bunker's Hill, Old Sharon. He established the first mission station there at Bowsham Hill. For 15 years, the work in Barbados was a dreary series of disasters. The chief cause was fever, and 6 missionaries died. By 1795, with the help of a Mr. Ostrahan, a friend of the mission, 11 acres with a dilapidated old walled house was purchased below the hills at Jackman's, the site of the present splendid Sharon Church. On February the 10th, 1799, the foundation stone of the new church was laid. Their first big advance was made in St. John, where they had the support of a wealthy planter, Edmund Haynes, and his wife of Haynesfield Plantation, now Wakefield. They donated land at Mount Chance, later called Mount Tabor, for the second mission station in 1825, and Mrs. Haynes taught the slave children herself in her home at Villanova, Monday to Friday, from 1824, and had 40 children to breakfast and Sunday school every Sunday. And Mr. Haynes gave land for the Mount Tabor Church, the manse, and the school. More churches followed, Calvary in Bridgetown and 3 more in St. Thomas, Clifton Hill, Dunscombe, and Centenary Church. The success of the Moravians in the 19th century was largely due to the amazing energy and the charisma of the Reverend James Young Edgell, the first homegrown Bajan Moravian priest. He was a genuine Bajan hero.